Good morning, thanks for joining us. Janelle Bloom along shortly with some poached plums with vanilla bean syrup. Gloria McKinnon and Eleanor Peace-Bailey will be making cloth dolls, which apparently is the biggest rage in Australia at the moment, in craft that is. And later in the show, Barbara Lawback will be along to talk about the Seniors Information Service. And it's a touching segment today. It'll be about what to do when somebody dies, and unfortunately it's something that we do have to think about. To start the show, we're talking about a new campaign which is talking about well, stopping violence against women. And joining us this morning, a couple of new advocates. We have Ashley Gordon from the ex-Newcastle Knights, and now what's your present position, Ashley?
I work at Life Activities as a community education officer.
Okay, we have Gillian Myers-Britton. Good morning, Gillian, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
And Butch Hayes. Good morning, Butch, how are you?
Good morning, Nat. I'm good.
Okay, now, Gillian, I'll start with you because I think you're sort of behind this and coordinating all of this. We have a campaign now, a national campaign, but we're bringing it down to more of a local focus, is that right?
It's actually a state campaign.
State campaign,
yep.
is it?
We have, across the state, we've got 4 sports people are involved in that, but we've made ours a regional focus with Ashley, Butch and Mark Richards.
And Mark Richards
but those posters are actually being disseminated almost statewide. I've had requests for them from Sydney, from Central Coast, from Mid-North Coast and Burke as well.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and obviously the fame of our sports stars is more than just local.
That's right, yes.
Okay. Ashley, why did you get involved in this? You obviously think it's a good idea to prevent violence against women.
Yeah, well, I'm currently a member of the Newcastle Domestic Violence Committee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in education, prevention and awareness, and when I was asked to participate in this campaign, I was all for it.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a broad understanding of violence against women and the fact that it doesn't just mean hitting?
No, there's obviously lots of different forms of violence, and some people need to be educated in those different forms, and unfortunately there's people out there who don't even know that they're committing an offence.
Exactly.
And so we needed that education to go out there to educate most people, and in particular men.
Mm-hmm. Butch, you feel the same way, obviously.
Oh, for sure. I mean, being an ex-sporting person and being in huddles and in bars and pubs with other blokes, and you hear some of the things that they say, and you think, wow, they still haven't got it. There's not. No. We haven't educated them enough.
Yeah, and it's not that these. No, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I get the impression that these guys don't deliberately go out to hurt women, but it's something they do subconsciously almost.
Yeah, it's well, you'd have to say it's something that's been ingrained in their lives for years, and they've never been educated.
Yeah, they've never questioned it. It's perhaps something that's I guess it's a social adjustment, isn't it, Gillian?
It's an attitude change, and it's a like this awareness campaign. Mainly, all we want to do is have men to start talking about it. It's always been a hidden subject, and it's something that is seen as a women's issue, but it's not a women's issue. It affects the whole community. So.
If you can get men talking about anything, you're doing pretty well. Except sport.
Well, they can talk about why violence, why this should be supported by violence, by sporting people, I should imagine.
Yeah, and that was the other part of the campaign that I picked up on, is that you have people here who aren't violence against women, and yet they are in a position to probably talk and explain to other guys that you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the whole aim behind the campaign is to show other men that you can be strong, you can be competitive, you can be aggressive on the field, and be a winner, but you don't have to be violent against women to be those.
Yeah, and even verbal abuse, which is classified as violence.
Oh, verbal abuse. There are so many little things. I mean, as role models, we just don't realize the impact that we can have. That's why myself and Ash and all of the other sporting people have gotten involved. The impact that we have as just being visible, how we can get out any type of message that we want, and we want to let all these men and whoever wants to listen that violence against women is wrong, any type of violence. So.
Exactly, it's all out. There's the information on the screen. Violence against women, 24-hour domestic violence line, 1800 65 6463, or a 24-hour rape crisis line, and let's hope that nobody needs that in a hurry, 1800 42 4017. Ashley, Gillian, Butch, thank you all for your time today, and congratulations. Let's hope that the campaign has some impact and gets the message out there. Thanks again for your time. Now it's time for a visit with Julie. Here she is.
Well, if you've been injured in an accident and want to claim compensation, it certainly pays to see a compensation specialist. Joining us this morning, Stephen Firth from Firth the Compensation Lawyers. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Julie.
Stephen, why is it so important to see a specialist in this area?
Julie, it can make all the difference. And let's face it, the insurance company on the other side of the case is going to use a specialist.
Yes.
And if you don't, you put yourself at a disadvantage right from the start. People beginning to realise that they are only going to get one claim, one chance at compensation, and they need to make every post a winner. And they give themselves the best chance of getting the best result by seeing someone who specialises in that field, yes.
Right. What if people aren't too sure whether they have got a claim?
A lot of people in that position, Julie, and so what we say is this: don't lie awake at night wondering, give us a call. And in most cases, we should be able to tell you right there and then over the phone whether or not we think that you have a claim worth going for. And that's something which we offer to people completely without obligation.
Yeah. What if a case has been dragging on for years and years? Have they still got a chance to...
Yes, unfortunately, that's a story which we hear all too often, and we are able to make a difference. And over the years, we've been able to help a number of people in that position get their case finished quickly. I mean, there's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. And so we aim to finish our cases as quickly and as successfully as we possibly can, even if they've been dragging on for years, which unfortunately too many do.
Some of them are, yeah. What costs are involved, Stephen?
Look, Julie, we recognise that people who've been injured in an accident are going to be concerned about legal costs. They may be out of work, money's going to be tight, and the last thing they can afford to have to do is out of their pocket pay for things as the case is going on. We say, look, we'll take care of all of that. We won't ask for any money up front. In fact, we'll make no charge at all until the end, and then only from the result. And in certain cases, for approved clients, we'll even try and help them out along the way to make things a little bit easier for them.
You certainly make it easy by the sound of all that, very much so. Are there time limits?
There are, Julie, and people need to be careful because they don't have as long as they think they might. For example, in motor car cases, it's only 6 months. So if you have been injured, you need to move quickly and speak to someone who specialises in the field to see if there's anything that can be done about it.
And as you say, there are great savings to be made by seeing a specialist in that area.
Absolutely. It'll certainly go through much more quickly, probably at less cost overall, and with a much better result.
OK, there it is. First, the Compensation Lawyers, they are specialists in that area. Give them a call, the number on the screen at 1800 631 888. Stephen, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Julie.
Janelle Bloom's in the kitchen, without me I might add, and today she's preparing poached plums with vanilla bean syrup. Let's take a look.
Thanks, Nat. It is blood plums. These are my favourite plums. Blood plums are out now, so keep an eye out for them, but there are lots of different plums around. But I tend to think that the blood plum is really good for cooking. The first thing I want to do is make an orange syrup with some vanilla bean. And this is great using the microwave oven because it keeps the heat out of the kitchen and it's much, much quicker. I've got about 1.5 cups of freshly squeezed orange juice. Just pour that into this is a 20 centimetre heat-proof microwave-safe dish. 1 cup of white sugar. Now, I tend not to use the caster sugar when I'm making a syrup. I use the white granulated sugar. But if you're using caster sugar, just add a little bit more. So that's 1 cup in there. Now, vanilla beans may be something you may or may not be aware of. This is what a vanilla bean looks like, and you can now get them in the supermarket in a bottle, so keep an eye out for them. What you do is, using a sharp knife, just cut it right down the centre, like I've done there, and open it out flat on the board. And using a sharp knife, scrape all of those black seeds from both sides. Now, it's the black seeds. Whenever you see black seeds, you know you're using the pure vanilla, and that is absolutely superb. So have a look at that. Okay, they're the black seeds. We want to add those now to the syrup with this vanilla bean. Okay, that goes in. Now, this goes into the microwave for 6 minutes on high, stirring every couple of minutes until it's nice and syrupy. So you can see how sort of thin and runny this is. And what I've already done is I have made a syrup for you that's nice and hot, and you can see how much thicker this syrup becomes once it has reduced. It's quite thick. And then what we do is we actually take the vanilla bean out and discard that, okay? So that's the syrup, which is just delicious. And now what we want to do is get the plums prepared. Okay, using a sharp knife, just press the knife against the pip and give the plum one twist, okay? And then to get the seed out, really it's just a matter of using a sharp knife and dig in underneath the seed, and that's the easiest way. Okay, and into that lovely warm syrup go all these beautiful blood plums, and really we're just going to poach them. On the stove it takes probably about 15 to 20 minutes, and what happens is sometimes they tend to cook too quickly because of the heat from underneath. Using the microwave oven, I just like to use the 50% power that the Samsung microwave oven has. So we'll choose the microwave power. When we choose power level, we want 50% power level, and here we just want 3 minutes, and hit the start button. And using the lower power level just means it'll slowly cook and they won't completely collapse. They'll just cook and be nice and juicy and tender and warm all the way through. So that's what we're looking for. And the other thing that I actually forgot to do is some fresh nutmeg. I don't know if anyone's seen fresh nutmeg. It comes like this in these really hard balls, and it just keeps forever. It's quite inexpensive. So when you buy that from the health food shop, you can just grate it, and a little bit grated onto the plums. I actually did that before, but you can just grate a little bit of extra nutmeg onto the plums, and that's really delicious. And then when they come out, I just like to spoon them into a nice bowl, and it's always a lovely thing to add just a nice dollop of cream. So a nice thick dollop of cream. Now, other things that you can poach, you can use pears, you can use apples, any fruits that are around, but the plums really are delicious this time of year. While I've got a moment, I just wanted to tell you about the different power levels. All microwave ovens have power levels, and I know a lot of people come and say to me, no, mine only has high. Check the power level button on your microwave oven. Go home and look for this button. It says power level, or it might say wattage, or it might be high, medium, high. It is the most important button on the microwave oven. It allows you to cook foods at different rates, which we do on the stove all the time. So don't forget to pop into Retrovision store and pick up the recipe leaflets, which are the recipes for the whole month. Pick up the recipe leaflet and have a look for the Samsung microwaves. There are a whole great range of them, and have a look if you're looking for a new one. See you next time, Nat. I'll bring some over for you. I know you're looking forward to a taste.
Well, that looks rather yummy, Janelle, but you still have to bring some over here so I can try it. You can't get rid of me completely. We'll take a short break and back with more of Today Extra in just a moment.
It's good to be back. Today, I've got just the most exciting person for you to meet today, Eleanor Peace-Bailey. Eleanor Peace-Bailey, welcome to Australia.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. It's grand to be back.
It is. And you've been here 9 times, I know, 1991.
I know. I'm celebrating an anniversary next time. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. But you know, I'm celebrating one too, because I tell everybody 25 years.
I know,
and
that is so marvellous. I'm so proud of you.
Yes, oh my. Thank you for that. And of course, we've just finished Stitches and Craft, which was exhausting and wonderful.
It was good, though. It was really good, wasn't it? Were we proud?
And 2 days of teaching at the store. Let's look at some of these incredible dolls of yours, because I dine out at this story all the time. When I met you back in 1985, I had to tell people that I had told you that we would wait until Australia was ready for you, and Australia was ready for you in 1991, and you came and brought all of these dolls. Do you want to tell them about your dolls for me?
I would. I think one of the reasons that you were a little hesitant was that all this bright and delicious color was just coming alive then in my market as well, and I'd been around for a while. But I was delighted to bring Queen Maureen. Here she is.
Let's look at this one now, though. This is me, myself, and I. This is Eleanor.
Yes, it is indeed.
Yes.
Well, one has to do a doll of oneself if one can.
Well, most definitely I can't, so I just have to look at yours.
Well, you have a doll of yourself, though.
Yes.
That's been fun. This is Anne of the Celtic
then we've got
Mist.
Queen Maureen.
We do.
Maureen. We know
Okay.
the story of Queen Maureen.
Well, Queen Maureen is an slightly irritated person, named after my middle child, who, when she was born, said, "I want to run your life."
And
yes,
she did.
and she does. She does indeed, yes.
Yes. And behind her, Anne of the Celtic Mist.
Anne of the Celtic Mist,
Oh, no,
yes.
now we've gone over to
Gladys and her glorious accessories. I love to accessorize. I'm sure dolls do as well.
The thing I like with Gladys is that her outfit's made from felt, and I think that's wonderful for beginners too. They don't have to fool with seams and things quite as much in the finishing. So all those wonderful...
Makes wonderful accessories as well. There's an irritated cat from Mehita Dell, yes. An irritated cat. Well, we have a lot of irritated people around here. Just a testy wonder around here.
Mehita. And look, my favourite, my absolute favourite.
Yeah, this is a Victorian doll, a miniaturized Victorian doll that I did. And one of the nice things about this is it used bits and bobs, you know, little bits of things. And oh, and Gloria, you have so many gorgeous things at the store, little things that are fun to use. Yeah.
Yes. Are you going to do a poem for me today, please?
Well, I promised that I would, and I will deliver. These over here are Dee Dee and Howard and Olive and Stan. And they are, I tease and say they're from Nebraska. That's one of my favorite places to go. And it's very flat, but the people are very generous and wonderful. And Dee Dee is head of the women's club and would never let anybody else talk. And then Howard loves to play golf. And Stan's head of the computers at the bank because he was there when they were delivered. And Olive loves to shop.
Yes.
Now, Dee Dee and Howard and Olive and Stan all get together whenever they can. They sing in the choir. They have potluck dinners. Dee Dee gets buxom and Stanley gets slimmer. Dee Dee and Howard and Olive and Stan, they're folks that you know. They're part of your clan. Dee Dee sings sharp and Olive sings flat. But Howard and Stan never listen to that. Now, Dee Dee loves meetings and Howard loves golf. Stan takes his nap and Olive takes off. Someone says bowling. They call it a plan. That's Dee Dee and Howard and Olive and Stan.
Thank you. Just love that one. You have many, many more, I know, and we don't have a lot of time to be able to do that. But if I can just then say that we have all of your patterns and all of your wonderful things at the store, and then there will be more of Today Extra after this break. Thank you. Bye-bye, and thank you, Eleanor.
We're joined now by Barbara Lawback from the Seniors Information Service, and today we're talking about what to do. In fact, we should be talking about what to do before somebody dies, Barbara.
That's right, yes.
And in fact, there is a booklet available which we'll tell people about as we go along. But it's something, I guess, that very few of us want to talk about. I know it's not something that we discuss much at home.
No,
it's
it's
one of those
not.
things you think about from time to time.
Occasionally, what to do when you die has been discussed. Occasionally people will say, well, I'd prefer to be buried or cremated. But that's about as far as it tends to go, usually, in most families. Yes.
And as we've found out in recent years, an alarmingly large number of people have not written wills, which is danger number one, isn't it?
That's right, yes. It's important that you write a will and that you let your family know where the will is kept as well, because when you die, the family has to find all those documents.
Exactly.
So it's an important thing. And the book, What to Do When Someone Dies, has a page of all the people you should contact. It has a format of a letter that you can write to different services that have provided the person who's died with different, services during their life.
And there are so many things that may be needed. I mean, birth and marriage certificates, property deeds, mortgage papers, home loan details,
That's right.
lease taxation records, insurance policy superannuation, bank accounts.
Quite a lot of documents are needed, and it's very hard for the person who's left behind if they don't know where to find them and what to do.
And it's not the time when you'd be wanting to think
No,
about those
it's
things
not.
anyway. You have other things on your mind.
So we feel that the book What to Do When Someone Dies is as you said, misnamed. It should be before someone dies, so that the person who's coming in after the person dies can pick the book up and it gives you a good guide of what you should do. For instance, you need a death certificate before a funeral can take place. So get a funeral director in and the funeral director will organise the death certificate. If a person dies, for instance, at home, and that happens occasionally, people aren't quite sure where to start, and it suggests in the book that you contact your doctor and then they will go from there.
Oh, okay.
If a person dies in a hospital, of course, the hospital will make those initial preparations. But I think a lot of people don't realise that you do need a death certificate before anything else can happen in the process of organising a funeral.
I guess it's just one of those situations that we tend to avoid.
Yes, we tend to not think that we'll die sometime, but of course.
Does the book make suggestions on maybe putting all of these things together and perhaps leaving them in the one place?
Yes, it does. It suggests that you put them together and put them in a file or a special place that the family knows about. It also suggests things like once the person has died and the funeral is over, then there's a grief process that happens, and it suggests ways of dealing with the grieving process too. So it's quite a comprehensive little booklet made by the government, So it explains all the processes that you go to from the time the person dies right through to how you're going to deal with the loss of the person in your family.
And if some of these things aren't done, it won't only cause inconvenience, it could actually become costly in some ways, couldn't it?
Well, that's right. Sometimes people have already prepaid for their funeral, or they might have a private health cover that pays for some of the funeral. And unless the person who's arranging the funeral knows about this, then that's overlooked. So you have to just check and make sure. And if you think that maybe they have prepaid for their funeral and you're not sure where, a suggestion that's made in the book is that you go through the yellow pages, find the funeral directors in your area and ring around and check and just see, has your mother or your father or relative prepaid for the funeral?
Excellent advice, Barbara. Good to see you again. If you would like a copy of the book or like to know more about what to do when somebody dies, the number there to ring, 13 12 44 for the cost of a local call. Thanks, Barbara. We'll see you soon. Now it's time to take a look at some of the marvellous prizes you may be able to win on the Today Extra Wheel.
This week on Today Extra's Wheel, you have the chance of winning great prizes like these. Have the best garden in the street with the easy-to-use and easy-to-start Eco Grass Trimmer. It's lightweight, well-balanced and comes with a 5-year warranty. From Eco and your all-power garden machinery centre. World Kitchen has all the right ingredients when it comes to preparing, cooking, baking, storing and serving and even barbecuing. Pyrex to prepare and store, Baker's Secret for baking, Corelle for everyday dining and Corningware goes from the oven to the table. Spam has been enjoyed by Australians for over 30 years, made from quality shoulder and leg ham and cooked in the can. Use it hot or cold. There's also Spam spreads. Spam is Australia's favourite canned ham. Triumph's range of lingerie is fashionable, supportive and comfortable, yet offering something for every woman's intimate apparel needs. Select product of your choice from the extensive Triumph range. Relax with a friend for the weekend at Novotel Opal Cove Resort in Korora Bay, Coffs Harbour. 36 acres of natural beauty in its own 9-hole golf course, pool, tennis and a freshwater lagoon. Novotel Opal Cove Resort. To be part of Today Extra's Wheel, phone 1900 937 465 and register your name, address and phone number. That number again, 1900 937 465. Call as many times as you like. The lines are open 24 hours a day.
Thanks, Julie. Good advice. Ring as many times as you can. Time for us to say goodbye. We're back at 9 o'clock Friday morning. Bye for now.